Now, hours to go before a midnight government shutdown, the House of Representatives had approved a new plan from Speaker Mike Johnson that would temporarily fund federal operations and disaster aid, but drops President-elect Donald Trump's demand for a debt limit increase into the new year. The bill's passage came after intense negotiations and objections from President-elect Donald Trump and Elon Musk, the incoming chief of the Department of Government Efficiency, who criticized the initial version as overly bloated. I'm being joined by Natasha Asrani from New York. Thank you for joining us, Natasha. Firstly, the House had approved the funding deal just hours before the government shut down. What can we expect next?
Well, now expect for this bill to go on to the Senate, where it will also need to pass really quickly to reach that midnight deadline. And Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has said that he expects the Senate to pass this bill very quickly, and after which it would land on the desk of President Joe Biden to sign into a law. Now, the thing is, this is preventing a shutdown at a very crucial time, which is the holiday season. And if this had not been passed by the House and expected now to be passed by the Senate, then the impact could have been of a limit of $1 billion lost per week during this travel section. So the House has really hurried up to pass this important bill to prevent the shutdown, but it excludes a major demand that President-elect Donald Trump had been pushing. He had been pushing for a debt ceiling raise, but that has not been included in this bill. Democrats rejected it. Many Republicans also rejected it, but the issue hasn't gone away. It's something that will have to be addressed in 2025, a major issue in the U.S. Congress, so as to prevent the U.S. from going into default. So issues around the debt ceiling still remain, even as a government shutdown seems to have been averted, at least for now. Really a sigh of relief here in the United States, with this bill likely to quickly pass also through the Senate.
Right, Natasha, despite it being a rushed passing of this bill, there have been some criticism that have come its way as well.
Yes, well, the criticisms have come really on both sides. There was a lot of drama that went in beforehand with the demands that President-elect Donald Trump was also making, as well as Elon Musk. And while this bill is going to cover $10 billion for farmers, $100 billion for disaster relief, which is considered a big deal, the questions that are really being asked are around, like I said, the debt ceiling, because a lot of fiscal conservatives don't want to see an increase in spending in the U.S. government. On the other hand, even though the Republicans had argued they want to reduce federal spending, Donald Trump, the President-elect Donald Trump, actually wanted there to be a suspension of debt ceiling, of any debt ceiling, which would allow the U.S. to have larger debt. And that's something which a lot of fiscal conservatives, both in the Democratic side and the Republican side, do not want to see happen. So for now, this issue has been put aside, but it really hasn't been fully dealt with.